Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, I thought I would give some advice or some helpful tips, however you want to phrase it, for women who don't know what they would do with themselves if their husband worked a lot. So, my husband works 3 jobs, 6 days a week. Before it was 7 days a week. And he gets to have this Wednesday off. And so I know from experience what it was like for me to have a part-time, both to be in college. Like, I have had a lot of different experiences now with being a parent and trying to juggle everything. Now we're in the mode of me being a stay-at-home mom now for 2 years, having the baby, having my other child, and how it all balances out. And so since he's now the breadwinner now, and we're kind of going into the gender roles that are more Islamic, I have begun to really see like what some women need to be told and how they can feel motivated and unafraid. Now, if you want to work, that's fine. I'm not gonna get mad at you, or you're gonna age anyways and want to have something to do, a farm stand, online shop, you name it, being a receptionist online, I don't know. But the point is that I'm trying to get at is reading and doing some like social media dawah or some social media blogging of useful things that you find interesting can help occupy your mind, can help you not feel so alone. Now, I don't have any family to help me, and I kind of like it that way, though, because I like my family not being around my children, personally. For visitation, that'd be alright, but they've only ever met my first child once, when she was 1 year old. So it's been quite some time that they've seen her, because I haven't traveled back to meet them, although we send videos and whatnot. But when I moved away from them and didn't move back, it was for a reason, especially because my mom has bipolar, and I don't think she would be able to handle dealing with the baby, especially because the baby is the type that always wants to be held, always wants to be near, always wants to see you, and likes to be on you like just hanging on you, like really just has to be around you, and really loves me. So when she sees me, she's calm, and when she doesn't see me, she'll cry. It can be very difficult when I'm cooking or washing dishes, so I always have to place her on her blankie or in her basket to where she can see me. And so I know how it feels to be a stay-at-home mom now, where your husband is gone most of the time and you have no family to help. And so I thought I would share with people like how I occupy my time. So I often get a blanket. She has hers. I have mine. I have that. You know the rolling pins, the foam rollers people use to roll out their back and exercise? I'll put that behind my neck and then put my feet up on the bed or on the wall, and I'll read when she'll be next to me. And it's really working out well because it's starting to train her in how you behave during reading time. I did this with my first child as well. Also, sometimes I'll just put her in the high chair. She's not old enough to really need the high chair yet because she's still nursing. But we practice sitting in the high chair, and then she'll see me do things, and then I'll read. And then we have these turns of sometimes we'll just lay down side by side next to each other. Sometimes she'll be sitting in the high chair. Like, we mix it up. But either way, she's seeing that it's quiet time when we read, or that don't worry, mommy's here, mommy's with you, and we're reading, so that she starts to learn what it is for study time, right? So when she sees her sister reading, me reading, and she's gonna get into the rhythm. And so if you feel like you're just dead inside because you're only watching entertainment, I'd argue that if you introduce a little bit of reading, even if it's only for 30 minutes a day, or 15 minutes here, 12 minutes there, you name it, it still helps and will help keep the home in a very calm environment, which is something I like very much. And if you're with your little one and your husband's gone, you don't really like a lot of people around, sort of like me, then I would highly suggest having those little cuddly times to read and really teaching your little one to get used to seeing you read. I would also say that when it comes to the kinds of books you want, there are entertainment kind, fantasy. There's also poetry. Obviously, you want to learn about the religion as well, but you don't want to get burnt out. I know there's some women who will lie and say they never get burnt out, but they're just liars, and I'm not here to lie to you. I'm here to give you actually, honest perspective. And so if you get burnt out, that's why you want a diversity style of books, right? And also, to pass time, I really encourage you to just start nerding out in the kitchen. Start having a lot of fun with different challenging recipes. I do that, and man, it's great. And sometimes it can be difficult. I'll be kneading some bread, the baby wants to be held. You have to talk to her, go, I'll be there, hold on, mommy will be right there. You have to learn how to make the little ones see that when you're cooking, you're not ignoring them, or that they'll be there shortly and they need to be patient. Trying to teach patience to children is very difficult, but you still have to try, right? Now, some mamas, they wear the baby. That's okay, but my kitchen is, if I turned around, I don't want anything, her hitting a pan off the stove or me knocking over something. It just wouldn't work. If you have a spacious kitchen or you're outside in your garden, that could work, but that just wouldn't work for me. I tried it. It's too heavy in the front and on the back. I can't see what's going on, and I need to see where her head is. Like, what is she doing? I don't know. I like to have to see it. And so that could be one thing that you do, is nerding out on a particular cuisine. Now, you have to keep yourself in these different pockets of things you want to listen to as well. Sometimes I want to watch some safari footage. Sometimes I'll hear this political figure talk. Other times I'll look at something where a person I don't agree with, so I can get a little bit of mental stimulation, right? Other times do a little history audiobook, you name it. Just these little, and sometimes I'll just have complete silence, sometimes I'll just have ocean sounds and write or draw. You gotta figure out how to keep your mind going from one healthy thing to the other so that you don't become stagnant and feel like you're enclosed in, right? This is why I try to take joy in doing bird watching and even just watching ants crawl on a tree. Just pausing, taking time to really absorb it, everything around me, and to just feels like you're regulating your heartbeat and your breathing to a tone and environment that is conducive towards peace. And that works really well in keeping any type of depression away. Because some men, they want to have the wife stay home, not go to school, not work, not leave without him being with her, and not to have another car where she can't go. And so you're looking at how many things you're taking away, and you're not giving her something to do. You're not making her feel like she has a purpose. And that's why social media can be very unique in what you follow. I follow a lot of like mountain sceneries, a lot of fun cooking stuff. I like also true crime stuff, graveyard tutorials, a lot of different news, Australian, AMLO of Mexico, you name it. So that I have a very interesting feed on many different apps. Now, it can be dystopian if you say, well, you're just only on those apps. But what I'd argue is some people live in dangerous areas where I've lived in places where if we live there now, ain't no way I'm walking around even with my husband. That's no. not gonna happen. I am not getting robbed in broad daylight or beaten or something like that. No, just not gonna happen. So some places you really can't walk, so it's safer to stay inside, especially in California. Some people, they like the thrill of the danger of walking around, cruising in certain bad areas. I like cruising in nice areas, but when my husband has time to himself, I let him work out. I let him have his time, right? He wants to get his power tools out, put something together, you name it. He's gonna do. Wants to go wash the truck. Yeah, let men have their own time. So it's very important as a woman, if you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom, and you only have one car, or you don't want to be out and about all the time, to have the cooking hobbies, crafting, writing. Those really do help. Really do help. I highly encourage you to pick up something that gives you some happiness. That's why I really liked making bird toys. It's something little, but because of all the little components and then testing certain designs out on my birds was fun. So it sucks that my Etsy shop got banned by trolls, and it's been a month now and they're not giving it back, so I'm just gonna have to go to eBay or some other platform. But that was one area that I liked a lot. Making candles is always fun. Soaps, always fun. I love doing that. Now I can't really do that because I have the baby and she's not at that level to where she's going to give me too much time to do that. I would also encourage you to have a fish tank, have, some chickens. Have some living creature besides a human being that can help you nerd out on stuff. I like to read the animal encyclopedias. I have books on just certain breeds of dogs. I have an entire encyclopedia also just on birds. Nerding out on different animals and stuff, like just feeding yourself constant knowledge, can really make you feel productive. Because you have to be fulfilled every day. Like, what did you do today? What did you learn? What was something funny that happened? Just recount your day and just say, like, wow, that's substantial. Because you have so much potential as a stay-at-home mom to have a peaceful, beautiful life, even if your husband doesn't have a large income. You still have electricity, hot water, giving yourself nice aromatherapy sessions. Like, I have very relaxing scented candles or incense. I just like a very nice, like, calm, quiet feeling. There's always a smell of fresh bread or tortillas being cooked. Coffee in the morning, like the scents and the atmosphere. It's just really nice and conducive towards stimulating thought and whatnot. Now, some will say doing prayers. You can do your prayers, but I know that's not going to work all the time the same way every day. And so this is also just like a general video for non-Muslim women as well, because even if you're not a Muslim woman, you still can benefit from these tips that I'm trying to share with you. And when you have a little baby and you're nursing and you're a stay-at-home mom and you don't have family, you're really bearing a lot of the pressure on your shoulders. And so I can tell from experience that reading and squeezing in what you can really help. And I love cooking, and what was fascinating was the time when I couldn't cook and I had to, find other ways to eat. It was really difficult on my mental state because I couldn't control it how exactly I wanted it. But when I was able to start, it felt like being alive again. And don't get intimidated by different fancy recipes. Just start and practice. Get yourself some nice knives for the kitchen that you're proud of. If you can't afford that, just use one knife, but treat it well and learn how to sharpen it. It's important to look at yourself, do a lot of introspection, and learn to take on the beauty. Let's say when you put the kids down, you go outside, you just look up at the sky, you hear the crickets, feel the breeze on your face. That's your night routine. Me, I like to have some tea between Maghrib and Isha. I can sometimes do a live stream, not really though. Or I read the Quran, or I try to get, in my mind some recipe inspirations, stuff like that. And that's like my bedtime routine after the babies go down for bed. And I have an hour, 15 minutes just to myself with complete silence, right? And so it's important for you to get enough sleep, get your proper nutrition in, handle your spirituality and your education. You can have such a rich, fulfilling life if you just accept that you don't need to have exorbitant amounts of luxury. And you're able to counteract a feminist judging you for not having the same vanities as her. Right? It's quite different. And so that would be something that I would recommend on how to deal with loneliness if you ever feel it. And I like talking to my grandpa because there's something about talking to old, because I was raised mostly with my grandparents. So I'm really used to the way old people talk or interact, or the kind of tough things they say. They're kind of more direct, And I really like talking to my grandpa. And sometimes he'll just talk about cars, and I have no idea what he's talking about. Cars from the 1950s, and I'm like, yeah, Grandpa. But it's just good to talk to him and hear him. And so you could call somebody just to see how they're doing and touch in. Some people only like texting, so even if you just shoot them a text and then they take like 20 minutes to reply. Like I have a brother, he's in college, he's young, he's handsome, getting his heart broken a lot by ladies, and he's having trouble with his relationships, but I'll try to connect with him, even though it's kind of hard because he's on a different time zone. He's living a different paced life than me. He isn't Muslim. And so I'll try to connect with him. I have a younger brother who's really into gaming, so try to connect with him on what his little world is doing. So I'll just try to see what's going on in their worlds. And you also can say, who can I just say hi to? Or who do you have to cut out? That's another thing. If you have a friend who is like bullying you, putting you down, not making you feel good, or who's very materialistic, or focuses too much on nonsense like Real Housewives or something like that, then I would argue you can cut them out little by little and try to replace them with someone better or with some content that's better. And then you can kind of feel a little less stress, right? Because there's like mental, stuff that stimulates you, and then there's people who can drain you, that when you get around them, they make you feel more drained. And so for me, as a stay-at-home mom, I get to regulate that, and that's one beauty that can help you not feel lonely, is that you're keeping a lot of strange people out of your physical life. Because online, they only exist on your device. In real life, they're like in front of you, which is quite horrible. It's a little bit harder to deal with. And so, to not get lonely, you need to make sure that you're getting enough sleep as much as you can. Yes. And that you are making sure to put some knowledge in your mind every day so that you don't feel bland or blocked. It's very important. Challenging yourself mentally and with your cooking skills, and doing tidying where you can, and then just seeing the beauty of the sky, hearing the rain, feeling the breeze on your face. This is stuff that will really benefit you. And if you make stuff, little jewelry, handmade baby blankets, baby bibs, burp cloths, you got a sewing machine, you know, oh, somebody's gonna have a diaper change. Something like that. That's gonna be very important for your mental health. So I hope some of these things inspired you, because I care about helping women to see the other side of the fence, because I've been on all of them if you're familiar with my history. And so I just wanted to share some of those tips with you. Right? By the way, if you'd like to join my blog, it's www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArchive. And also, if you can form a community, do it. But I know that's not possible for every woman, so that's why I didn't mention it. And I haven't got to do it myself yet, because the little baby's too little. Maybe when they're older, I'll start like a Muslims kids club and do something like that, and then I can give you more tips on how to do that. But I have to actually do it first. Others have done it, but I can't speak for them. I can only speak from what I know. Right? So, take care. I'm gonna go hang out with the baby. And tonight, Puerto Rican food's on the menu. Alhamdulillah. So I think that's gonna be great. Hopefully, you get some good cooking recipes in. I've also shared lots of cookbooks as well that I like, and also on my Instagram I share a lot of recipes that you can also replicate, add to, try, adjust, whatnot, just to inspire you that cooking is fun. Don't forget to buy an apron and dishwashing gloves. Protect your hands. Keep your hands pretty, nice and soft, not all dry. Do it.